Hello guys, this is Shaky Beaves and welcome to another episode of Road to my Katana bleed build in Dark Souls 3. We're almost at the end. So I talked about it last week. I'm not really much of a Fashion Souls player, but I thought I owed it to you guys as viewers, and thank you for the support of this series, to actually go full on Fashion Souls and wear the Eastern armour set with the Katana. So we are now fully assuming the role of the strange Eastern visitor to this distant land of Lothric. Wearing an armour that's very strange to these parts and a weapon that bleeds its enemies. So pretty cool to wear this. I'll hold my hands up. I had to change my gear sets for the couple of boss fights we've got coming up, but I'll try to mostly wear the Eastern as we're making our way through the level. But yeah, Grand Archives, what a painful area. You're going to see that there's lots of fails, lots of fun, but yeah, very frustratingly challenging area. Not one I hugely enjoy, but it's still, it's pretty cool, great in design, and obviously FromSoft really trying to pull the rug out from under the enemy, from under the player rather. So it's typical FromSoft at their best, kind of showing you who's boss. You might be near the end, but we're going to throw everything at you now, and that's kind of my experience of this area. But yeah, really cool, a lot of fun, and we are now fully the Eastern traveller to the land of Lothric, which is pretty cool. If anyone can tell me as well, I haven't took the time to look this up, what is the purpose of dipping your head in the wax? Does it have any effects on the game? Yes, I could have looked it up, but I haven't, so if anyone wants to share that in the comments, that would be great. But yeah, it's all about the Lothric Princes fight at this point. This extremely tough fight, there's no denying it. I had a real challenge with it. The last time I played them I had a high power strength build, so the fight's a lot easier. You're putting in 1,000 damage a hit with a super weapon that I had, and this time I'm a nimble dex player. Yes, bleed as well, we do bleed them and I show that, so it's not significant and it probably isn't a game changer. It's quite nice to see the bleed effect, but it certainly doesn't make the fight significantly easier. It's maybe a very slight bonus when you do get that blood loss, but I'll show that later on down the video, so look out for that. But yeah, very challenging fight. So gear wise, I think I may have gone in with Dragon Slayer armour if I remember, because it's got high fire resistance, pretty good magic resistance as well, and they're the main two damage outputs from the Lothric Princes. Rings wise, and this is where I love the ring game in Dark Souls 3, it's very strong. There's a lot of complexity and depth to it if you really think about it. There's some great builds and kind of great combinations that you can make out of the rings. And one of the key things for me is the prisoner's chain, actually, that you get from defeating Champion Gundyr. That's why I was very keen on making that detour to Champion Gundyr. Look at that death there, absolute monstrous. The transforming Champion Gundyr's soul, yeah, very, very important, because that ring is an insane buff. You get a huge amount into your hit points. I think it's 5 points in your hit points, it might be more. You get about 3 or 4 points into endurance. And then obviously you get your, I'm trying to remember the last stat actually, but it's 3 different stats that get buffed. A really, really useful ring. Allows me to wear heavier armour, allows me to get those extra hit points in. There is a damage penalty for it, but I don't know what it is, and I experimented a lot. I took the prisoner's chain off in one of the later fights, which I won't ruin because that's in next week's final episode, just to see whether I could sense that damage penalty was significant. And in all honesty, I haven't done the maths, but it didn't seem that way. I seemed to be kind of dying just as quickly, or playing just as well with or without. So yeah, I don't think that damage penalty is a massive game changer, whereas the stats buff that you get from the prisoner's chain is superb in my opinion. So look out for that. If you're playing this game, I would recommend transforming Champion Gundyr's soul to get the prisoner's chain. So sorry to digress, let's get back to it. So the rings that I used versus Lothric Prince were the Champion Gundyr's prisoner's chain. I used the Ring of Favour. I also then used the Hunter's Ring, which is an incredible find at this late area, just outside of the boss fight. And that basically buffs my dexterity by 5, so I'm getting 5 extra skill points in dex, so it's increasing my damage output for nothing. So an insanely good ring. So I bought in the Hunter's Ring. And also finally, the Lothric Princes are a huge endurance fight for me. So difficult from an endurance perspective, and obviously, you know, I always said this, I didn't have a huge amount of investment in endurance, so of course I've taken the Chloranthe ring and I continue to use the Grass Crest shield, and as I said, armor wise I think we went in with the Dragon Slayer armor. So yeah, incredibly challenging fight. Look out for that one later, it's at the end of the video, but there's lots to come working the way through this level that's cool. Some really awful deaths, as you'll see. There might be one in a moment, and obviously we'd have the triple NPC fight as well, which is pretty intense, just outside the boss area. So a cool episode, I hope you guys enjoy. Next week I'll be bringing you the final episode in this series. Incredible we got there, and yeah, just very proud to have got to the end with this one. So do tune in next week for that final episode, and thanks for watching guys, take care.
Dear, another dogged contender. Welcome, unkindled one, purloiner of cinders. Mind you, the mantle of Lord interests me none. The fire-linking curse, the legacy of lords, let it all fade into nothing. You've done quite enough. Now have your rest.